the bright minds decided that we would transfer him in an armored motor vehicle rather than a car. Well, the threats had come in then, and I accused the television people and radio people of having a microphone set up in our office because that hadn't been decided 3 minutes till it was going out on the air. And then the threats come in that we're going to turn that, stop that armored motor vehicle, turn it over and set it afire. So while the captain and I was having coffee, I said, well, I may burn one day, but I don't want to start it today. And if they're going to do something like that. And he wasn't in favor of it either. On our way back, as we went up on the first floor, we run into the chief. He was going somewhere. And we stopped and talked to him, and the cap reiterated his objection to that motor vehicle. And he held steadfast to it. I told him, I said, Chief, you know that elevator from the jail stops on this floor because they had the city courts on that floor, and they'd bring the prisoners, these ne'er-do-wells would get in trouble and come bring them down for court, that would stop there. I said, you know, we could take him out here on this floor and put him in a car on Main Street and be in the county jail before they ever leave it. And his exact words to me were, Leavelle, I have given them my word that they can film the transfer, and I'm going to keep it. I don't want them to think that we abused him, mistreated him, or anything, and this is the best way to do it, let them film it. Well, I could see where he's coming from, but if he'd listened to old detective one time, Oswald could still be down there convicted and having his appeals going. But so we went down, but we got a break because they couldn't get the armored motor down in the basement. There's a air-conditioned duct hung down too low, and they couldn't get down, so we had to stop it. So they went back to another deal. They were going to let us take him in a car behind and use that armored motor as a decoy. And if anybody tried anything, it'd be for naught. So in order to do that, they would send a car out the wrong way in the entrance ramp and send it around to get in front of this armored motor vehicle and take off when we were ready and lead it on a wild goose chase. Well, we didn't get there, of course. When I walked out into the basement with him, and I did say, as he mentioned earlier, I told Lee, I said, well, Lee, if you shoot at anybody, I mean, if anybody shoots at you, I hope they're as good a shot as you are. Of course, meaning they'd hit him and not me. Then he kind of laughed and said, well, nobody's going to shoot at me. Here again, I thought that that was kind of a confession of guilt, because if I had just shot two people as he was going to be accused of it, I believe I would have come back and said I haven't shot anybody. But he said nobody's going to be shooting at me. But when I walked out into the basement with him, the television cameras come on, and it blinded me for a little bit tonight, but I could see underneath. Jack Ruby was standing out in the middle there, and he had the pistol in his hand and had it by his side. And I didn't tell you that Jerry said he went back and looked at that after I told him this, and he said, you can see that pistol in his hand by his side. Well, I said, I could see it by his side. But no, not by the other. The police officers and the news people, they were looking up here at the head. They weren't looking down. But that's one of the things that I could see, and I usually look that way anyway. And he made a quick step, 2 quick steps, and double actioned it in his stomach. When I saw him standing there, I jerked back on him. Of course, I had him right against me, as you can tell, and I jerked back on him to pull him behind me, but all I did was turn his body a little bit, so the bullet hit him a little bit to the left of the navel.
Basement floor of the Dallas City Hall, and that's a scuffle on the basement floor. It seems to concern the target. He has been shot. Oswald has been shot.
Went all the way through the stomach, cut the vena cava in the back, went through the liver and took a chunk out of that, and hit the end of the 7th rib over here and shattered it, and then bounced off and landed right about here, long ways. And when I took him in and examined him, I could roll that bullet around underneath the skin just like that. Like that. If it hadn't hit that rib, it would come on through and hit me somewhere over here in this side here. Ruby was trying to get off another shot. Mr. Graves had grabbed the pistol in his right hand, and Ruby's wrist was the other one. But I could see Ruby's fingers working on the trigger, trying to get off another shot. But the way Graves held the pistol, he couldn't do it. I picked him up with the help of another officer and took him back inside. And they called that the shooting occurred at 11:21 that morning. It might have been a little earlier because I don't know who notified the dispatcher to call an ambulance, but it took a little bit of time for that. But the time that went down was 1:21. But there happened to be an ambulance passing not too far away that had been on a call and was headed back to his office, and he was there within less than 5 minutes. And we loaded him and took him to the Parkland. I rode an ambulance with him and tried to get some feeling on his arm, but pulse, but never did. I went into the operating room with him and told the doctors, I said, before you do anything else, I want that bullet out of him. So he rolled him over a little bit, pinched it up, and hit it with a scalpel. It popped out into a tray that a nurse was holding. I immediately took out my trusty pocket knife. It had a sharp point on it, and I said, I want you to scratch your initial in the butt end of this bullet while I watch, because you and I will be testifying this is a bullet to come out of Lee Harvey Oswald, and which I did several times, and I know she did at least once. At least I didn't have anybody screw that one up. I got that straight. But they worked on him for a long time, and he was pronounced dead at 1:07 p.m. that day on November the 24th. Now, the next day, I transferred Ruby on Monday, but I didn't handcuff myself to him. And when I taken him down, he wanted to wear my hat, my coat, and everything, because he was afraid somebody was going to shoot him. And I said, Jack, there's nobody going to shoot you. In the first place, you're not worth killing, so you should worry about something useless. And I told him, I said, you did not do us any favor when you shot Oswald. And he said, Leavelle, all I wanted to do was be a hero. And he said, I just messed things up. I said, yeah, you certainly did that.